Do you want to break free from everyone else's rules and finally become the person you're too afraid to be? Today, I'm giving you 7 Nietzsche principles that will transform your obedience into fearless self-creation. In this video, we'll cut through the fluff and show you exactly how to reject blind conformity, embrace your deepest drives, and build your own value system from scratch. These ideas are not for the faint of heart. They'll challenge everything you think you know about safety and fear. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll learn to create your own values. Then we'll tap into the will to power, accept our shadow, and strive toward the Übermensch. After that, we'll explore eternal recurrence, resist herd mentality, and commit to daily self-overcoming. Let's jump right in, starting now with principle number 1, how to create your own values. Nietzsche's first principle is what he called Umwertung aller Wert, the revaluation of all values. Imagine a time long ago, when kings and priests dictated what was good, right, and true. These rulers commanded obedience not just through laws but by shaping morality itself. Their values became the unquestioned truth, handed down like sacred relics, and anyone who dared to challenge them was branded a heretic or an outcast. But what if those values weren't your own? What if you were living under a set of rules created to keep you small, obedient, and predictable? That's exactly the trap Nietzsche warned us about. Obedience to inherited values is like wearing a suit made for someone else. It doesn't fit, it restricts your movement, and it stifles who you really are. The ancient story of Prometheus gives us a glimpse into this struggle. Prometheus defied the gods to steal fire and give it to humanity, a symbol of knowledge and power that was once forbidden. In doing so, he challenged the divine order, rewriting the rules of existence itself. Nietzsche wants us to be like Prometheus, bold enough to reject imposed values, courageous enough to create our own fire, our own meaning. Creating your own values isn't just rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's a path to true freedom, freedom from the chains of obedience, fear, and conformity. It's deciding for yourself what is good, what is meaningful, and what your life stands for. Only then can you step out of the shadow of others' expectations and begin the difficult, exhilarating journey of becoming who you're really meant to be. Now that you've begun to reject the values that don't serve you, Nietzsche's second principle urges you to embrace the will to power. But don't mistake this for simple dominance or control over others. The will to power is much deeper. It's about mastering yourself, growing beyond your limits, and constantly shaping your own life. Think of it like this. In the ancient myth of Hercules, the hero doesn't just fight monsters outside. His greatest battles are within, conquering his fears, doubts, and weaknesses to become stronger. This internal struggle is the essence of the will to power. It's the driving force behind every act of courage, creativity, and transformation. Yet, most people never tap into this power. Why? Because fear holds them back. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of stepping into the unknown. These chains keep us obedient, stuck following safe paths laid out by others. Nietzsche challenges you to confront those fears head-on, because the will to power only grows when you push past comfort and safety. Ask yourself, what if the real enemy isn't the world outside, but the hesitation inside? What if embracing your will to power means embracing discomfort, uncertainty, and even chaos as necessary steps toward becoming the person you're afraid to be? As we move forward, you'll discover practical ways to awaken this drive inside you, ways that don't just inspire but transform. So stay with me, because the journey to self-mastery is just beginning. Having sparked your will to power, Nietzsche's third principle demands a confrontation that many fear most, accepting and harnessing your shadow. The shadow is the part of you that hides in darkness, the anger, desire, ambition, and all those forbidden emotions society tells you to suppress. Think about the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a tale many know but often misunderstand. Dr. Jekyll tried to bury his darker urges, keeping up a polished, obedient facade. But those repressed parts didn't disappear, they exploded into Mr. Hyde, uncontrollable and wild. This story isn't just about monsters, it's a warning about what happens when you deny your whole self. Why do we push these darker parts away? because repressing them keeps us obedient, safe within the boundaries of good behavior. But this obedience comes at a cost. It fractures your wholeness and silences the raw power inside you. When you deny your shadow, you're living a lie, denying essential parts of your nature. The question Nietzsche leaves us with is stark and existential. Can you become truly free if you refuse to face the darkness inside? Or will you forever be a prisoner to the light you pretend to shine? By embracing your shadow, you reclaim that hidden energy, transforming fear and shame into strength and authenticity. It's not about becoming bad, it's about becoming whole. And when you harness your shadow, you unlock the raw creative force that propels you beyond obedience, fear, and limitation. Now that you've learned to accept your shadow, Nietzsche challenges you to reach even higher with Principle 4. Strive to become the Übermensch, the Overman, or Superman. But what does this really mean? The Übermensch is not some mythical hero or invincible being. Instead, it's a goal that pushes you beyond conventional morality, beyond the good and evil dictated by society, toward creating your own values and living by them unapologetically. Philosophically, Nietzsche saw the Übermensch as the ultimate expression of human potential, a person who no longer obeys external rules but is their own lawgiver, crafting meaning in a world where old certainties have crumbled. It's a radical freedom that demands immense courage, because to be your own judge and creator means stepping into loneliness, risking judgment, and breaking every chain of obedience you've known. Think of the existential philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, who famously said, "Man is condemned to be free." This condemnation is the burden and the power to choose your path, to create your essence through your actions. The Übermensch embodies this freedom, but with it comes responsibility. It's a call to transcend fear by owning your choices and becoming the architect of your own life. This isn't an easy path, but it is the only way to shatter fear and obedience once and for all. As we continue, you'll see how embracing the Übermensch mindset transforms not only your thoughts, but the very way you live each day. Building on the courage to become your own lawgiver as the Übermensch, Nietzsche presents a challenge that pushes responsibility even further. Principle 5. Live as if you'd relive your life. The idea of eternal recurrence. Imagine every choice, every joy, every regret, every moment of fear you experience isn't just a one-time event, but something you must live over and over, an infinite loop stretching through eternity. Would you greet this thought with dread or with acceptance? This is the unsettling, yet transformative question Nietzsche asks. Eternal recurrence isn't merely a philosophical puzzle, it's a profound test of how deeply you own your life. If your existence repeats endlessly, there's no escaping your choices, no second chances outside this eternal cycle. This forces radical ownership of your actions and decisions. Think about it. How many times do we make decisions out of fear, out of obedience to others, or just to avoid discomfort? How often do we live passively, hoping life won't demand more from us? But if you had to live every moment again, forever, would you be proud of the life you've chosen? This principle demands brutal honesty with yourself. It strips away excuses and dares you to embrace your existence fully, even the parts you fear or regret. It's a call to stop fearing your own power to choose. Because once you accept this eternal return, every moment gains weight and meaning. So here's the existential question Nietzsche leaves hanging. If your life were to repeat infinitely, would you be willing to live it the same way? Or would you finally have the courage to become the person you're afraid to be? Living by eternal recurrence means breaking free from fear and hesitation, owning your path with fierce responsibility, and stepping into the freedom only true ownership can bring. It's not easy, but it is the next essential step on your journey. After embracing the eternal responsibility of your life, Nietzsche's next principle pushes you to resist one of the most powerful forces keeping us obedient, the herd mentality. He called this slave morality, a way of thinking that arises when people submit to the values and judgments of the crowd instead of creating their own. Think about the story of Galileo Galilei, who dared to challenge the consensus that the Earth was the center of the universe. Despite overwhelming pressure, threats, and condemnation, he stood alone with his truth. His resistance to the herd mindset cost him dearly, yet he became a symbol of intellectual freedom. Nietzsche saw most people blindly following the herd, adopting beliefs and behaviors without question, because it's easier and safer. But this obedience to the crowd is a slow suffocation of your individuality and power. It's comfort disguised as conformity, a silent prison built by fear of rejection or failure. Ask yourself, how many of your choices are truly yours, and how many are echoes of what others expect? Are you living your life, or are you living the life the herd demands? Resisting this herd instinct isn't about arrogance or isolation. It's about reclaiming your freedom to think, act, and create independently. It means saying no to mindless conformity and yes to the sometimes lonely but exhilarating path of self-authorship. In the next part, you'll discover practical ways to break free from the herd and cultivate the fierce independence Nietzsche demands. Stay with me, because this is where your journey shifts from theory to real-world transformation. You've made it this far, which means you're ready to face the hardest, most transformative principle Nietzsche offers. Practice self-overcoming daily. But what does self-overcoming really mean? Imagine life as a constant battle, not against others, but against your own fears, doubts, and limits. Every day presents a new challenge to push beyond who you were yesterday. Nietzsche believed that this struggle is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process, a relentless journey of growth and courage. This isn't about perfection. It's about refusing to settle for comfort or complacency. It's about looking fear in the eye and saying, I will rise above you. The Übermensch is not a destination, but a path of continuous self-transformation, where each victory over weakness, each moment of courage, builds the strength to face the next challenge. So I ask you, are you willing to commit to this lifelong fight, to become stronger, freer, and more yourself every single day? For those who choose this path, the reward is profound. The fear that once held you hostage slowly fades, replaced by an unshakable courage. This is how you finally become who you're afraid to be, by practicing self-overcoming again and again until it becomes your nature. So let's bring it all together. You've just walked through 7 of Nietzsche's most powerful principles, each one a challenge to break your obedience and become the person you've been afraid to be. 1. Create your own values. Stop borrowing the world's definitions of good and evil. 2. Embrace the will to power. Let your inner drive shape your destiny. 3. Accept and harness your shadow. Use your darkness. Don't deny it. 4. Strive to become the Übermensch. Be bold enough to live beyond other people's rules. 5. Live as if you'd relive your life. Own your choices like they'll echo forever. 6. Resist herd mentality. Refuse to let the crowd think for you. 7. Practice self-overcoming daily. Fight the daily battle to rise above your limits. Each of these is a rejection of fear, of obedience, of playing small. Nietzsche didn't want you to live a safe life. He wanted you to live a real one. One where you confront your shadows, challenge every inherited belief, and dare to create your own meaning. So here's my question to you. Which of these principles shook you the most? Which one felt like it was aimed right at the part of you that's still hiding? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if you found something in this video that made you think, made you uncomfortable, or made you feel seen, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this kind of truth today. Because becoming who you're afraid to be isn't just about you. It's a revolution that starts in the mind and spreads one brave soul at a time.